Hey, hello, I'm Kråkan, also known as Corvus Cornix, and welcome to Classic Movie Rambles, where I talk about old movies that I found in my closet while cleaning. This week's movie is Star Wars, The Clone Wars, and it's an animated feature from 2010. This specific episode comes from Season 2, Volume 3, and it's called Lightsaber Lost. And the episode starts with the tagline, "Easy isn't always simple." And the narrator kind of explains the plot so far, what's been happening in the campaign, in the Clone Wars campaign. And then we cut to Ahsoka, this Padawan trainer under Anakin Skywalker's supervision, and they're looking for this black arms dealer in the slums of Coruscant. And this arms dealer is basically selling weapons to the separatist movement. And Anakin has kind of pinpoint this guy where he is. And he tells Ahsoka to stay behind and stand guard if someone escapes. And Anakin walks in, and there is laser blast and gunfires, and a lot of people escape. And she gets pushed down by these guys. And when she rises, she realizes that her lightsaber is gone. And she sees this guy that has taken it from her, and she goes for him, kind of hunting, trying to capture him. But when he escapes, she loses sight of him, and she returns to Anakin, and he has caught the perpetrator. And they take this arms dealer to the Jedi Temple, and Ahsoka kind of asks Anakin if she can be excused, if she can go to the library. And of course, says Anakin, you can go to the library. And she goes there to try to find this criminal that stole a lightsaber, basically because she remembered her face and everything. She asks help for this from this librarian. And they go through the database, but it's not easy to find. And the librarian kind of says, like, there is this one person that actually might be able to help you. He's an old, wiser Jedi, and he's actually a professional. He deals with the criminal, and in Coruscant, and he's really knowledgeable about these things. So they go to this old Jedi master called Terasinube, or something like that. And the criminal expert, basically. But Terasinube is basically hard asleep because he's an old, wise Jedi, kind of like a turtle. He's very slow, very methodical. He's fast asleep. So she wakes him up, and she asks about this perpetrator, and he finds out relatively quickly who this person is. And Ahsoka is eager to go to find this criminal and get her lightsaber back. But Sinube wants to tag along, basically, because he hasn't been on an adventure for a long time. And reluctantly, Ahsoka agrees. So they go down to the slums again, and they talk to this shopkeeper, and they bluntly ask, and it's kind of stupid, but where can we buy lightsabers? And they go down to this garage area or whatever, and they kind of pressure the guy, and Ahsoka is very impatient, not very Jedi-like, but she's a Jedi in training and whatever, and Sinube kind of tries to negotiate. So with a little bit of forced or push negotiation, they find out where they can buy a lightsaber, basically. So they go to this apartment complex, and Sinube uses an old Jedi mind trick to get past the help desk. And he basically explained to Ahsoka, if she will calm and relax, she will be able to feel the person that has her lightsaber. If she just focus, she will find it. And then she focused, and she realized, or Sinube tells her, that they're basically behind this door. And she uses her force power to blow in the door, or bash in the door. And Ahsoka and Sinube enters the room, and Ahsoka picks up this perpetrator with the help of her force power, and she kind of throws him around the room. And Sinube basically tells Ahsoka yet again to calm down and take it easy. And she pressures this guy, and he kind of confessed that he doesn't have the lightsaber anymore. He has moved it on to someplace else. And he gives them a name of Nakamura, which is this basically bad guy of the underworld underbelly of Coruscant. So they go to this new location where Nakamura is supposed to be, and Sinube uses his force Jedi mind trick to get past the help desk and they go to the room, and they bash in the door, and Nakamura is lying dead, and there is this scared girl next to him, and they try to figure out what's going on. So Shinobi kind of talks to this scared girl, and Asuka goes out to investigate further the apartment to find evidence. And she finds this bounty hunter that has her lightsaber, basically. And then the bounty hunter escapes through a window, and there's a chase. And Shinobi kind of talks to this scared girl, and he kind of suspects that something is not right. He kind of uses his senses that this might not be right. He actually suspects that the scared girl actually might have be working with this bounty hunter, and actually might even have poisoned Nakamura. So he puts a tracker on her while she's not knowing. He tries to figure out more about this. And Asuka chases after the bounty hunter, and there's a chase, and the bounty hunter uses her lightsaber against her to cut down some obstacles to kind of stop her from moving on. And Asuka basically falls behind, and the bounty hunter uses a lightsaber to cut down some transportation, and Asuka kind of falls down, and she has to basically hang on to dear life on one of these kind of digital hoverboard kind of billboard things, and then she eventually jumps down and lands on a speeder, and the chase continues. And then Shinobi calls for some security droids, and she confronts this scared girl about her being in leagues with the bounty hunter. And then the security droids arrive, but the scared girl reveals her cover, and she steals the speeder and runs away. And Asuka is chasing this bounty hunter, and she uses her force power to pull down this drain pipe that she's crawling down on, and the pipe kind of falls, but the scared girl, the perpetrator girl, picks her up in a speeder. And then Shinobi picks her up a bit later with a speeder he got from the security droids. And he is very slow. He drives very slow in traffic, and everybody is kind of angry at him because he's so slow. But he assures Asuka that he knows where they're going because he put a tracker on this girl, and they drive down to this kind of station, this hub. And then the bounty hunter kind of realized that her companion has this tracker on it. She destroys it, and Asuka sees the bounty hunter and the scared girl, and runs after and try to catch him. And then Asuka kind of follows them onto this moving train, and the chase continue inside the train. And then the bounty hunter takes a hostage using Asuka's lightsaber. And then Asuka says basically that you're trapped. There is no way out of this. And then the train stops, and she tries to leave the train, kind of this cabin, whatever. She tries to get it out, but then Shinobi is right outside, and he uses one of the quick moves to disable her weapon and kind of knocks her out. And then Asuka gets her lightsaber back, and Shinobi and her return to the Jedi Temple. Shinobi asks Asuka a favor, and she says, yes, of course, a favor. That will be in all rights about now. And he says, pass on what you've learned. That will be the favor you can do for me. So she enters this little quarter with younglings about to be Padawan trained, and she tells the story about why lightsaber is your life. It's your weapon of choice. It's the only thing that keeps you alive. And she tells the story why it's so important. So that was the end of that movie, or that episode. So what do I think about this movie in general? It's really good. It's really good, actually. There's some nitpicky things about model quality and something looks a bit like plastic, but this is in 2010, and there's like a lot of seasons and episodes and volumes and whatnot, so the quality kind of it's pending, I guess, but it gets the point across, and it's Star Wars, so it's great. There's one thing that's kind of funny about this, and it's like in one of the first Star Wars movies, I think it's the fourth one, the first Star Wars movie, A New Hope, they mention, like, Luke says to Obi-Wan Kenobi, like, you fought in the Clone Wars, and Obi-Wan says, yes, I did, or something like that. And that little reference there. So what happened is, like, in episode 2, the Clone Wars, the George Lucas movie, not Disney, they the whole this franchise started. So there's like things that are related to the Clone Wars. There are books, there are comic books, novel-like books, and there is an animated series with like pen kind of flashlight drawings, and there is this animated feature that we just watched, and then there is the movie, and then there are a couple of video games like Republic Commando, Star Wars Battlefront, and that's where I learned about the group 501st. And there's a whole bunch of stuff about this. There's probably a card game also or something, or even more ridiculous things. That's the thing about Star Wars, like it's the concept now with Disney and everything. But anyway, thanks for watching, and take care.